We are back. Hello, everybody. Hello,
Back.
Chris.
Hi.
How
Happy
are
New
you,
Year.
darling? Happy New Year. That's true. I wish a wonderfully smooth going, sweet year for everyone, full of very good surprises, lots of love, lots of laughter, lots of money, lots of traveling, lots of everything good.
And no COVID.
Well, that was, the
That's a
double
wish.
entendre in a smooth, sweet year.
Sweet. What's new? Where are you,
All right.
Cynthia?
So I am in Puerto Escondido at a friend's house, a French friend who lives here 6 months out of the year. So I'm super happy. I'm in my bedroom, and the internet connection is not super stable. So I'm going to do what I can, and of course you're freezing up. So I'm trying to figure out whether you all can hear
Oh
me or
no,
not.
I'm still here. I'm good. But you
It's good.
haven't
It's
actually
wonderful. You just keep on freezing up. That's all.
you
I
haven't
have
actually
like
said
these
what country
these
you're in yet.
faces of you going like this, and it just sticks there.
Can you actually hear
So
me though?
I can actually hear
Right.
you.
What
Yes,
country
and
are
I
you
do
in?
have a lot of awesome friends. I'm in Mexico. Puerto
There
Escondido
we
is
go.
Mexico, and for our next show, I will be in Argentina, just coming back from Ushuaia.
Just
Yeah.
remember,
Yes.
don't cry for it.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. Ba-da, da-da,
The truth
da-da-da.
is I never left you all through my
The
wild
truth is,
days.
I never left you. Yes,
I do like it.
I
I
will
do
stop
like it.
singing that. Yvette is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story, actually. It's actually a wonderful story. Anyway, how are you doing, Chris? Where are you at?
I'm. Oh, here comes trouble.
Uh-oh. Hello,
David's
David.
back. He's able to watch for the first time in about 5 months.
We didn't welcome all of our viewers. Chris.
Well,
Oh
like,
my
share, and
gosh.
subscribe. Slightly fondle, caress.
Yeah.
We're out of practice.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you for joining us, all of the people who are watching us. We hope that you finished 2021 with a bang, and in all of the senses of the word. May I say that? And and I chimed in with the year with COVID, so that was really nice. Being quarantined in a 10 square meter hotel room in Oaxaca, and so yeah, I've now it's done. I've got it. Well, I've had it, and so I feel like, I'm like Superwoman. I'm a hero now. I'm a COVID hero. I can do whatever I want, and I won't get COVID for the next, what, 3 months?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Would you like to know what I've been thinking about?
I would like to know what you have been thinking about, and I know your brain, so let's go for it. I'm sitting down.
No,
Shower
well,
thoughts.
like, it's actually quite a fair one. I was thinking about this when I went to my parents for Christmas, and when you walk inside their front door in their hallway, they've got 2 bookcases down the left-hand side, and in those bookcases are so many encyclopedias, like A to Z. It's massive. There's like 26, 27, 28 of them, and where some letters go on too long. And they spent a lot of money getting those encyclopedias for their children to do research for school. And then the internet came. So we barely ever touched them. And then there's an underlying guilt there for me. But then it made me think that, like, every child is trained to be out of date, because the generation that is teaching them is not necessarily up and together with what's happening right now. and methods change and stuff moves on. So everyone's always out of date until you reach sort of 20, 30 years old. Then you start sort of, your generation starts becoming a bit more savvy and prominent with what it's using.
Yeah, but then there's something else that's new that's come along, and you are yourself out of date. It's like a perpetual out of date.
Yeah, it is. It is perpetual. And I mean, what I actually wrote down was every child is trained to be out of date by a generation that's past its prime. Oh, we've lost Cynthia. She's gone still.
No, I'm here.
Okay. You've got very
Chris, you broke me.
I've never broken you. I've broken other people.
No, you can't break me. I'm too strong, and I love you too much. So it's just, you can't break me. You can say what you want. You'll never be able to break me.
My second one, right? I'm still put off by the fact that your face is totally frozen, just staring at me in a really stern manner. I was thinking that, like, you know, there's the flat Earth people. Like, surely flat Moon should be more prominent than flat Earth, because from the planet we only ever see one side of the moon, so it's like a disc, and more people can prove that the Earth is round, but not many people can prove that by experience, prove that the moon is also a sphere.
It's true.
And
it's
then
true, though.
My final one, which I was thinking of when I was cooking the other day, would people eat as much chicken breasts if they had nipples on them? There's silence. I don't know if you're laughing or you've just left or what's going on.
I'm laughing. All right.
Same goes for like
silently.
Ducks and geese and turkeys. Can you imagine that at Christmas dinner? Just be like, oh, I want the nipple bit.
Can you imagine if we were cannibals eating boobs?
Oh, Kelly, behave.
You guys didn't hear what I said, did you?
No. But Kelly, it's FOWL to make the pun work. There, Cynthia's back. Foul,
back,
yeah.
Yes. She wrote foul as in like in a goal. In
professional
sports.
foul, or doing something naughty, as opposed to foul as in birds.
Disgusting.
Yeah, well, yeah, that as well. I mean, I don't know what's happened.
Oh my gosh. Craziness.
So before we bring our guest on, and you explain that we actually do have a guest, and it's not just us having a natter.
It's not just us redoing our first show.
We are so out.
It's always chaotic.
Oh dear.
It's okay. We haven't spoken in so long. And salut Laurence, thank you. Laurence is another friend of mine, but she lives in Annecy. Hello everybody. So yes, our guest, Declan O'mara, also known as Dead Skull. He is an amazing multimedia artist in the theme entertainment industry. He's done so much stuff. He's been there, done that, and he's like so young. You young people annoy me with all of the things that you've done. And I look at me and I'm like, yeah, well, I've done this and that. And that's pretty much it. And so anyway, he is amazing. Let's bring him on and he can tell us more about why he's an unsung hero. Yay.
Whoop, whoop.
Hello.
Hey, Declan. Oh my God, you're in my ear again.
The microphone's paying for itself already.
Amazing. Welcome to Unsung Heroes, Declan. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And so tell us, who are you?
I've got a question first. I've got a question first. I've got to interrupt. I've got a question first. Declan, if a turkey had nipples, would you go for a nipple part of its breast or a non-nipple part of its breast?
Probably the non-nipple. I think it would put you off a little bit. I don't know why, but yeah.
If it depends if it's a hairy nipple or not. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you've not really factored that one in as well. Yeah, no, I'm sticking with my original answer. I think. Yeah.
Definitely, Kelly. That's some good plumage round there. Oh God.
Oh my gosh, this is so hilarious.
Right, crack on, Cynthia.
So
Sorry, I'm
Declan,
done.
Yes.
please tell us who you are, what you do, and give us the Declan lowdown.
The Declan lowdown. So my name's Declan, but most people know me from like my artist name, which was Dead Skull, which has not really got kind of any reasoning behind it. It's just what I settled on many years ago, and it's just kind of stuck from there. I'm a multimedia artist, so anything that's from idea generation, like blue sky phases, all the way until like on-site delivery and art direction, I kind of cover all of the aspects basically. So once we came up like an idea, then I would direct the multiple disciplines that it would take to build that thing, whether it's writers, animators, 2D and 3D, filmmaking, anything that's kind of media related. I'd have to oversee and kind of have a general knowledge about every step to then take a team of, it could be 5 people, it could be 300 people, and kind of orchestrate the final idea all the way through every step basically. So being very hands-on in every department and trying to figure out every kind of problem we might have along the way.
And are there often problems to figure out? You
could say there might be a few problems. I think that the one thing that people tend to forget is when we do make themed attractions and rides, they have to work every 3 minutes, and most theme parks don't close, so they have to work over and over and over again. So it's like watching a live movie and trying to get it the same every time you watch the movie. It's an orchestrated kind of well-oiled machine, theme park rides, but that's just one of the many problems. But once they all work together, it's like you can be in any of your favorite stories or anything like that. So it's well worth all the effort that goes into it.
All right. Well, that's kind of cool. So there's one question that we like to open with is the milestones that brought you to this path in your career. What kind of milestones did you go through to get to where you are today?
My story's a lot different to many people's. When it kind of started off not in any kind of industry or anything that I do now, is when I was younger, I played ice hockey and inline hockey for GB in like the Junior Olympics. So that was one of my first kind of milestones. Oh, there we go, looking very happy as always. So on the left is, believe it or not, we won that game. You wouldn't think it. So I did that kind of semi-professionally up until I was 18, and at the same time I was going to school for specialising in like media. So after I finished school, I went to college to do media again, and so I started developing like skill sets as a filmmaker. That's like the picture in the corner. It says "Good morning." So I started making short films and going around the European Film Festival circuit. So I think that picture was in Germany, and kind of trying to make films. I wanted to be a filmmaker. So at the kind of same time, when I was filmmaking and doing this type of stuff, I really liked music, especially drum and bass and dubstep events that were kind of local. So as I was underage. This was just before I was 18. I used to sneak into the nightclubs with a camera and say I was with the DJs and I was there to film them. And slowly and surely, people came onto the idea that I was, there we are, not meant to be there. So instead of being thrown out, I waited till I was obviously 18 to have me back. But then they kind of brought me on as filmmaking. So I would film the DJs, then the DJs would see my films, and from that point I would go to the record label, so go to events throughout the UK that were for these DJs and the labels. And then after that, then I started going on more tours and more of that type of thing. So as I was filming all these DJs, I was also learning to DJ by just filming so many people doing it. So I decided that I wanted to stop filmmaking and become a DJ. So I threw myself into the deep end with that type of stuff and started doing my own kind of smaller shows, like just small venues, DJing to maybe like 50 to 200 people, nothing crazy, around like university time, making, you know, kind of going to all the events you would do as students, but instead of being in the party, like hosting the parties and putting events on. So when I was filming and DJing at the same time, I was lucky enough to go down and see Skrillex at London, Brixton. And this is where it kind of all pivotally, is that the word? Maybe pivotal point of where it all changed for me. So I watched Skrillex with his Cell Tour, which was this big 3D projection mapping kind of structure. And no one really knew what 3D projection mapping was at the time. It was still relatively new. There was only kind of on buildings, and this was around the same time YouTube was becoming bigger and better, of like viral videos and that type of thing. So I didn't know what I was watching, but I knew I wanted to figure it out and do it. So I took all of the filmmaking and very small animating skill set that I had, and then also the DJing stuff that I had built up over the couple of years, and was like, I could make this show. Like watching, I don't know how many bricks and holes, but thousands of people with a massive orchestrated set and visuals. And I just assumed, oh, it can't be that hard. The kind of Dunning-Kruger effect of little to no knowledge and high confidence. So we started, as most projects do, really small. And my flatmate at the time at uni, he worked at Morrison's, and he was like, well, I can go get loads of like cardboard boxes for you, and you could practice and rent a projector from the university and all that type of thing. So we did exactly that. My unfortunate housemates had so many cardboard boxes around the kitchen and in the living room and all that type of stuff. So I rented a projector from the university, and this was one of those, not even like 480p or anything close to that. It was very much there was almost like mice running inside of it to make it work. So I slowly started figuring out what projection mapping was, not by doing it properly, but basically just guessing how it worked, really. So
were you using a software there, Declan, or were you just like literally putting colors on with something as simple as paint and working from that?
So it was very basic After Effects. So it was just monitoring your screen as like a second screen and drawing squares. So not how projection mapping works in the slightest, but it was enough to fool people that it was going in the right direction. So that was a kind of a success working just through After Effects. And then I kind of thought, what's the next? How do you take that to the next step? Use the cardboard boxes, but build more of like a DJ booth. And my parents allowed me to take over their living room for the best part of, I'd say 5 weeks. And I just built a kind of DJ stage in my parents' living room. And this is when I actually encountered more 3D projection mapping software. So software is like it's called Mad Mapper, which allows you to map onto surfaces and all that type of thing. So slowly but surely started falling into this software and figuring it all out the correct way, but still on cardboard boxes, very small scale and that type of thing. But this was part of my university degree, so I had to hand it in, and people had to kind of see an end result. So when I took all these pictures and filmed it, was actually the day it was meant to be in. That's how long of a kind of learning process it took me to figure all this out. So I handed it in and I filmed it and uploaded it to Vimeo and like YouTube. And funnily enough, with all the YouTube and videos of projection mapping going viral, this one also went viral. It's one of the most searched projection mapping videos on Vimeo, I believe, still. Just cardboard boxes in my mum and dad's living room. And then one of my lecturers at the time, he kind of seen almost like the how big this can go and the kind of progress I could make with it. So they signed me up to play a digital arts festival in Lincoln, where I went to university. So I went from cardboard boxes that had shredded wheat written all over them to spray painted boxes, then to cardboard boxes on a stage in front of people. So it was still cardboard. It was still like if I kicked it, it would have fell over. And kind of just threw myself into the deep end of learning the hard way, talking yourself into a situation where you've got to do it or you're gonna look like a fool, I think. So
very brave thing to do, though.
I think
at the time, early 20s, late teens.
Yeah, so I would have been about 19, 20 at the time.
Yeah, all to you.
Yeah, but I think now, knowing everything that could have gone wrong, I probably wouldn't have like the confidence to do it now. I think I was just ignorant and didn't realize what can go wrong in these types of shows. So I was just like blagging it and thinking that, it'll just work. There's nothing that can possibly go wrong with, things that can easily move in projection mapping and all that stuff. So, but from this point, it kind of really got out of hand, and I just took the jump, and I was thinking, how do I get from cardboard boxes to the Skrillex show that I seen? And I was like, we'll just do it 5 times bigger, make it 30 foot wide, and put it in an academy-sized venue that can hold up to like 3,000 people. And I just had to convince my lecturers that would be a good idea and definitely work, when I had no idea how to do any of it. That's what I did, funny enough. So I made a project called Invasion Live, which is all based on the cardboard boxes. And instead of writing my dissertation, I decided to throw a rave to all my classmates at the end of the year when the dissertation had to be in. So it was a very big step up, and it was all funded through Kickstarter. Me, my friend Greg and Will, we kind of teamed up together and developed this live show that kind of went out of hand very quickly from cardboard boxes the semester before.
Wow. I'm impressed because, I mean, my son, I can see my son he's 23, and I can see him at where you started at. And he's playing around with LED bars and doing light shows for DJs in Lyon, where he lives. And I just sent him a link. I just sent him the link to the show, and I said, you have to watch my show today, because there's someone that is like is a major you, and you are a mini you of him. It's inspiring how far you've come. I mean, how from like doing things with After Effects with cardboard boxes to this. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's me and my spaceship.
It's really cool.
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where you just have to go for what you think will work. Because if you kind of sit down and think of all the things that can go wrong, which I just didn't know to that level of what could go wrong, and just be ignorant to them, I think it pushes you a lot further with your ideas. Because now I know that there's a lot that can go wrong, and it often does go wrong. So with these projects, it's always one of those where think big and don't think of the consequences straight away, and then if the more you kind of develop into them, then start taking things into kind of consideration of what can go wrong in those types of environments, for sure.
I wish I could think like that. I'm like the blue sky thinker's worst nightmare, because I walk into a room, I'm like, you can't do that. That's going to be madness. This can go wrong. That can go wrong. And I'm the guy that sat there telling someone with brilliant ideas like you, go, that problematic. Can we change that? Can we do this? Can we do that instead and bring the risk down, but try and keep the I don't know, the emotion and the passion in what you're presenting. Keep all of that, but we just need to make some changes. And everyone walks out of that meeting like, oh, Chris.
Just flatten the ideas a little bit.
I'm very much a realist and look at the problems, though.
Oh yeah,
engineering,
for sure.
Engineering's a little bit different to a wacky blue sky, wonderful. Wouldn't this be cool if? But then the trouble is, people, myself included, in our industry, that tend to take it too far and bring it down too far. Take some of the quality out, take some of the fun out of it, the innovation out of it. Because
for sure.
Let's just try and make this work and continue to work. And yeah, that would be really cool. But if it's not working, it's going to ruin the whole thing. But if you look at any of the Disney parks, and especially when Walt was leading all of them, it was like, no, just make it happen. And some of the craziest and best innovation that our industry will ever see was in that era of time. Where I don't care, make it happen. It'll be cool. Yeah,
I think it's always important to have like the more. I think pessimism is important. Yeah. There you go. They're important to be in the room, but not let it drive the conversations, because they can. Some things that do end up going down the pipeline are not physically attainable, and you do lose time on things. But it's always good to have different perspectives, I think, in like the kind of blue sky thinking phase, because you can say like the most craziest shit, and then you can have like the thing that'll actually work, and then you kind of meet in the middle, or one goes one way and one goes the other.
Yeah, all the people that go, we get it all the time. Oh, we want a hologram. Do you want a Pepper's ghost? Is that what you're after? Because there's no such thing as a hologram. But no, it'd be really cool if like I've seen it in Star Wars. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, it would be really cool if it was possible. But we can do some really cool Pepper's ghosts and visual tricks to make you think, or get force perspective 3D to get what you want without having to wear the glasses. And we can do all those kind of cool little tricks and stuff. But you need to tell us what you're trying to deliver first. Like, wouldn't it be cool if? What do you want your visitor to see? That's the most important thing. What do you want your visitor to do, and how do you want them to respond? And through the blue sky idea and the thinking there, you can match the two, and then that's where I'm actually useful as opposed to a pessimistic nightmare. So I reckon we can manage this possibly.
Yeah,
it's the same in story when we're doing content, or even in translation, where you're translating this message, or a client wants to tell a story, but has no idea what he wants to say, or how he wants the story to go, and you're like, okay, well, what's the message you want to convey? How do you want your guests to feel, or your readers to feel when they read it? It's so hard to get the idea of something into a reality. That's what I just admire so much with people in the blue sky thinking phases, where they're just, I mean, if you could represent it in image, it's like a bunch of electrons in the room just bouncing off of each other. I love that energy, and having the realists or the pessimists around to just kind of shoot down all of those crazy fuck ideas that just that are annoying. I mean, how many times in SATE conferences with the TEA have we talked about the designers and how they're so creative, and they have these crazy ideas, and the technicians, the engineers that come and say, no, that's not possible. And how do you make those two match, and the dynamics of everything? It's I think it is a really, really difficult thing to balance, to find like the recipe. And I don't think that there is one recipe that can be transferred from one project to the other. I think that's what's so amazing about the projects that we do in the themed entertainment industry, is that you're always doing something different. I think it's so cool.
It's that old left brain, right brain thing.
Yeah.
A bit like your presentation at Sake there, Cynthia. Talking about how to understand people. Well, what are we looking at now? What was that?
Yes.
This is after the whole my live show. Once again, going from to the cardboard boxes and getting out of hand, then to the show of cardboard boxes getting out of hand, to the live show. Then it got even more out of hand, and I got to go to Russia to project onto a massive building to hundreds of thousands of people. So there was no kind of limit with this kind of projection mapping thing. It just kept a lot of luck, definitely on my part, but it was the more I kind of kept working and putting things out there for like projection mapping, the more luck I entered myself into, I guess. So I got an email from I always forget the festival name. I think it was Circle of Light Festival in Moscow in Russia, and they were inviting artists to represent their country. So I went representing the UK, and it was one of those things where you're working on your show just in on your computer inside of like Cinema 4D and After Effects, and then you get to the place and you go, okay, this is a lot bigger than my monitor. It's like it's a building in the middle of Moscow. So yeah, they each milestone, I think, towards where I got in, it's been a massive jump. There's no kind of been any time.
So when was this?
This would be 2014.
And you were how old?
I just left uni, so 21.
Shitting hell. I think that's about the second time that I've sworn an Unsung Heroes. I've usually got a potty mouth, and I try very hard, but yeah, it's impressive.
Thank you. I just didn't once again, it was just I didn't know all of the amount of things that could go wrong. I just tunnel visioned it and thought, oh, it'll be fine, and then getting there and being widely out of your comfort zone. But you're there and you've got to kind of do something now, so you don't really get a say.
That's incredible. That is not impressive. That's incredible. 21. I mean, that's like that. You're still a baby at 21. I'm sorry, but you're still like so young and so theoretically so inexperienced. But to have been invited to go, I mean, even in your own country, to be invited to go do a projection mapping or a show on a public building is just incredible. But you go to fucking Russia? Jesus Christ, man. That 21.
I suppose as well, like, you've already represented the country before as a junior ice hockey player. So representing the country again, that's sort of that. Did that feel any different? Was that new? Did it feel new because it was something completely different? Or did you just sort of, oh, I've sort of done this before. I love how Cynthia's face is frozen there.
I don't know. I never really stopped to I never stop enough to like think about things. I just go to the next thing. So I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't think I really thought about it, if I'm honest.
I suppose that there's an element there of what Cynthia's saying, is that sort of the young ambition and the drive, and like you've been saying, not thinking about it.
Yeah,
I guess it makes it a little bit. I can't. I have to obsess. Oh, we've lost Cynthia completely now. I have to obsess over every detail, and I've done that since I was a really young kid. Like, if I was doing a project at school, especially a design and technology project, I couldn't do art. I have no imagination for it. But I used to do a lot of lathe work and building like tiny little bowls, and if I got something slightly wrong, I'd obsess over it to the point where I'd like sanded the thing down and it was literally nothing anymore. So I had to start again. And I like to have the I don't know, I guess the bravery to just go, yeah, I'm doing this now. This is what I'm doing, and it's all going to be fine.
I think, yeah, it's just
I'm in awe of it.
lack of knowing the consequences, I think, or I don't know, maybe I never took myself too seriously as well. I just knew it was fun for me. I didn't think that, oh, I am doing anything different compared to anybody else. It just, that's what I was up to, and my friends were up to whatever they're up to. I didn't see it as any different. So I don't know. It's a hard one to. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way, but it's a hard one to answer because I don't know how I did it. I just did it. I don't know. I just went in with the thought process that it's something that needs to happen, and I'll just figure it out as I go along.
That's Disney-esque, in my opinion.
You know, it's funny, but in every year I have like a theme, and a couple of years back, my theme was say yes to everything, even if you think you can't do it. Trust in whatever's happening.
Yes Man film that Jim Carrey starred in.
I haven't seen that. I've seen it pass by on the feeds and everything, but I haven't seen it. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is the story of the movie.
It's the premise, yeah.
It's it really is. I think it's so powerful to say, I trust my instincts, and I trust that if I'm faced with a challenge, that I'll find the way to make it work and make it work. And that year when I was saying yes to everything, I did so many new things.
Just clarify that. Not everything.
Well, I'm not going to go there, Mr. Chris.
Behave.
I'm behaving. You're the one asking the
I mean, I was asking for clarity. I was asking for I was after clarification there.
Yes, it was say yes to everything. And that's the year I started working on Quake with Eurovision, and I did the content creation for Eurovision on the Quake Museum in Lisbon. And that was the year I was like, I've never really done this, but okay, yes, Eurovision talked to me and said, hey, we want to try.
Oh, we want to try nothing because
Okay.
She's gone. Oh no, she's
I'm
just paused.
here.
We can
I'm
hear
here. I've missed Saucy Synth David. Well, hello. If you weren't gay, you know what would happen to you.
He's mine, hands off.
He's gay. Anyway, this is all hypothetical madness, exactly. Oh, I'm sorry, Declan. We got off topic
40 minutes in, and we've managed one question. We did warn you, Declan, in our pre-show chat that we just tangent forever and don't actually get anything done.
So I have a question for you, if I may, Chris, jump in with a question. What's the hardest lesson you've learned in your career?
That's a very good question. I don't know. There's as much as I've kind of spoke about all these successes from thing to things. There's sometimes where it doesn't go right. Like there's been instances where my live show with Invasions just completely crashed, and I've kind of not ruined thousands of people's nights, but they've come to something that I said I was going to deliver and I didn't. So I think it's one of those lessons where overconfidence kind of brought it to a point where I did the show so often I didn't think of the possibilities of things that can go wrong, which is the blessing of the curse. Is where I've got to where I am now, is just with a lot of it's confidence and just trying to do it, but also it's forgetting that these things people are dependent on coming to see, and they've paid their money to come and see. So maybe not planning too much, like not planning enough sometimes, I think, came to bite me in the ass a fair few times, enough to learn and be a bit more cautious now. So I would say that would be one of the major ones. Of it's putting yourself on that kind of public display as well, especially with the live shows, as you're in front of all these people, and if it doesn't work, they're going to look at you because you're the face of what they've come to see. So yeah, I'd say lack of planning or checking, or being a bit too naive of the possibilities that can go wrong. I'd say that's what I'm going to go for.
But then, so I'm assuming that most of those, or any, say, however many of the shows that didn't quite work out as you wanted them to, were they at this sort of the start of the shows, or was that towards the end of them? Because what you find with live artists is that at the start, if something goes wrong at the start, I mean, Adele's just done it and said I've got to cancel this. I can't get it how I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not going to work. So if you do a couple of shows and two out of three go wrong, then it changes your mind. So I'm assuming that they happened like mid or later on in
it was a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of success straight away, and it was quite rapid success. I mean, the cardboard boxes to the show in Russia happened in the space of 2 years. So I just knew that it was going to be. That's how I imagined it was just going to continue to go, or at least stay at that level. And then I think you have to kind of be humble to the fact of things need to go wrong for you to have that perspective and go, it's not just going to be perfect. So yeah, it was more mid to end of the run where things started getting a bit more, whether it was just the venue or whether it was ticket sales, or you're only going to be as popular and things are going to work as much effort as you put in, I think. So it's one of those double-edged sword, is you have to put the effort into making sure everything works, but you also have to put the effort into doing the thing. If that answers the question, I guess.
It
definitely does. So looking at the deck of pictures that you sent us in for the show, I think I remember seeing a neon collection.
Yeah.
Let's pull that up and talk about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, so this is the stuff that I did kind of as I was doing the live music stuff and doing all the touring and shows and that type of thing. It comes to the point where I think I was just getting tired of, and like mentally and physically drained from doing all these shows one after another and traveling around the world and that type of stuff. So I started making fake neon signs. So real fake neon is what my friends like to call it. Is just making album artwork or releases in this kind of neon style. And I have such a love for like old-time American highway signs and that type of thing, like that whole aesthetic. So I started making neon just randomly. I think the top left one, the brain, is the first one that I did. And slowly but surely I applied that to the music, and record labels started wanting it for their artwork, and it started going on records and releases and that type of thing. So once again, applying everything that I previously knew about the industry, music and all that stuff, and using my connections and my new venture into this kind of neon style, I then just put it onto that and kind of kept putting more eggs in the basket and just applying that to the same thing over and over again.
I'm a little bit confused. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm a little bit confused as to what I'm looking at. So is this digital art, or is this actual? So
it's not real. It's not real.
It's not real, but it looks incredibly real.
Yeah.
I don't understand how digital art works. I'm a man that beats things with hammers.
Pretty much.
Like the idea of this being done almost pixel by pixel. I understand paint. That's about as far as they go. But if you ask me to understand anything in Photoshop, I don't, or anything like that, I don't understand how
it's kind of, to put it into like the themed entertainment example. It's like every ride you've ever been on or any experience has to be built in 3D first. So I would model all of these neon signs in 3D and then texture and render them. And one of my specialities is like photorealistic animation and still. So the more effort I put into making it look realistic, the more people are not going to think it's digital art. So it's a blessing and a curse.
Wait a
What we're
second.
looking at now, is this actual neon or is this digital art?
That's digital. It's not real.
Oh my God.
It's all fake.
Wow.
So I understand, because I do 3D modeling for a lot of our tricky projections and figuring out light paths and where we need to have things and where they need to be and structural issues and what's in the way and all that kind of stuff for, I guess, delivering digital content. And I always say that we've done our job right if no one knows we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see the projector, you don't see the speakers, you don't know they're there. You're just completely involved in your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole different kettle of fish to that in sort of my understanding of 3D modeling.
It's one of those things where, like you said, the more work you put in, the less people notice. So it's like a blessing and a curse that you don't actually get to see it.
I'm laughing at Kelly's comment in the private chat there. What on Dolly Parton's Green Earth?
She's such a Southern girl. Oh my gosh. What on Dolly Parton's Green Earth?
So you start with a very grey looking. I don't understand how, like, out of thin air, like the blue sky idea goes, this is what I'm going to do. And then your brain just clicks into a different gear, it seems, and goes, I'm going to model this, and then I'm going to texture it, then I'm going to render it, and then is there another end to the process? Is there like touching up or?
It all comes to, it's a different application for different things. So it could be normally the process you go through is like you just think of the idea, and then I have a very good, I don't know, my brain just works in that I know what it's going to look like before I start it, kind of thing. So I kind of like draw it up. I'm not a very good drawer, so they all look like really shit stick figures and like little doodles, and then I'll model it in 3D, then texture light it and add all the background. The one that I did as like a fan of Halloween Horror Nights was like in an arcade, so I added like arcade cabinets and all that stuff and kind of brought it all into a real world setting to kind of sell the illusion more that it's not real, but it's a whole process in itself, really. It depends which one.
It's got so much Blade Runner Judge Dredd vibes running through it for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're very big inspirations. I mean, I don't like clean neons at all. Like I have to go through a process of modeling it normally and then adding the dirt and grunge and making it not like no line is straight or no curve is perfect. It's all got to be done as you would like glass bending almost. It'd be a lot faster to make these in real life if I knew how to.
What's the little glass blowing bit just out of Venice? Medano glass, is that right? I can't remember. There's a little island that they're really famous for blowing glass, and I've sat there for literally 4 hours and just watched one guy create. It's at my parents' house. It's a horse up on its high. I can't remember, a rearing horse, and it's got a multicolored tail, multicolored mane, and the guy's just been. And he goes, "Oh, then if you want to make this into a neon, you can do it like this, and then blow the air through it and sort this out." And then, it was the most mind-blowing experience.
Yeah.
Morale. Yeah.
That is, glass blowing is like my dream craft. I would love to learn. And I really do hope that someday I'll be able to find someone that will accept to teach me a little bit of that. It's the most mesmerizing, beautiful, amazing. I love it. I love glass.
Hands up, anyone in the comments that wants to teach Cynthia how to blow glass. Gotcha. When you're starting off on a new
I'm
project,
red.
Declan,
You made me blush. Like,
when you start a new project, Declan, what really gets you excited?
Say like for like a themed entertainment kind of thing is it's knowing that, well, so the majority of the things that we do work on don't actually ever get built kind of thing. So I think it's the idea that whatever I help design or be a part of is going to be someone's first ride or first experience of theme parks, of like what Spider-Man the ride was for me as a kid. Is that when I went on that, I
Mind-blowing.
knew that you weren't on a theme park ride, you were part of Spider-Man. It was just mind-blowing, and still to this day, it's one of the best theme park rides in my opinion out there. And it's
What do you think about Transformers?
Transformers. I'm still yet to realize when the lift is happening. I can't figure it out. So I'd say that gag in that thing is brilliant.
I just, for me, you've got to. Transformers is such a letdown in that park because Spider-Man was there first, and it's still better than Transformers, and you've got almost a carbon copy ride.
Yeah,
And,
I would
it's
say
exactly the same.
I'd say yeah, and also from like the geeky point of view, it's like amazing how much they fit into that little space of like a 2-floor dark ride. So I would say yeah, it is kind of like a carbon copy. However, how the other thing is, how would you do Transformers any differently? I don't think there's many applications you could bring that IP to life without a screen and all that type of thing.
For me, I wouldn't even bring it in a park as an IP. I think it's to do it in the way that they have is a bit weak, and I think it doesn't add to the park. Whereas Spider-Man adds to the park. Like it's
for sure.
a huge. I've never been to Island of Adventure without going into Spider-Man. I've never done it.
Yeah, I don't think
so.
Yeah,
I have to disagree with you, Chris. The Transformers ride, at least the one in LA, at Universal Studios, is. I mean, I think it's one of at least my family thinks it's their favorite ride. They love it. They've done it over and over and over again. And for someone who's not in the industry, it's a super ride. And you don't. This is the thing: is when you're in the industry, you see all of the potential it could have had, and you can't like see the basic, like how does this create an experience for someone who is new or isn't in the industry. And Transformers is so much fun. It's it's got comedy and it's intense, and I like it. I mean, I really do like the Transformers ride.
Kelly's corrected me. It's Universal Orlando, isn't it? That Transformers is in, because it's down the road from Diagon Alley. That's a really niche fucking comment, but anyway, yeah, it's not an Island Adventure, but it's the same fucking ride, and they feel like they're right next to each other, and I don't like it. It's boring, and I'm a huge Transformers fan. Like, I've loved Optimus Prime. Was like one of my earliest toys and most used toys when I was a kid, and I would forever be playing with my Optimus Prime, and I thought he was the coolest thing in the world. And I got really excited when the films came out, and then the actor whose name I cannot pronounce, because the beefy one is what I call him.
I'm trying to think which one.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah.
Shia LaBeouf. Who cares? He's terrible and I hate him. That broke it for me. And then also Megan Fox has thumbs that look like big toes, and that upsets me as a human. So it just sort of ruined the idea of the whole concept for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how. That's always comes down to that, right? It's like I don't understand how you would do it differently, but then again, like a fan of Transformers now, they might be more into Transformers than they are Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's obviously had a massive resurgence with all the new films and stuff. So it could be, for like a young kid, they could be just like the best things ever, regardless. But I can see from the standpoint of like exactly the same kind of attraction, very close to each other for sure.
Cynthia's got a mic mute and she wants to say something.
No. So yeah, you behind, we can't see it now because we're all three on the screen, but behind you have jack-o'-lantern, and in our pre-show I think we talked about your favorite colors being the Halloween colors, so and also your shirt. It seems like you're a fan of Halloween.
No, not yeah. No, so one of my big loves is like horror movies, and Halloween Horror Nights is like an event, and getting scared in general. And I'm like the easiest person to make jump. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. I don't go through like haunted houses going, oh, this is nothing. I'm
Neither does Chris.
I'm very jumpy, but I love like the design and horror in general.
I'm very different. I jump not necessarily very easily, but if I can't stand people in masks or being caught off guard. So we've just done a TEA event, right, in London just before Christmas. We did Madame Tussauds, and then we went to Winter Wonderland, and I checked with Tussauds and said, I know that you tend to have live actors in a certain part of the museum. Can you please remove them for their own safety for our tour when we're coming through? And they said, that's absolutely fine. We will remove them. And you walk down into like a Victorian street scene with some heads on pikes and some other bits, and maybe even early in the Victorian time. And I was like, look around the corner. I was like, that guy looks too real, and he is going to jump out at me because I'm the tallest person there. Of course, he's going to pick on the biggest person. And I've walked out, and I had Cynthia, if you're still there, I had Matt Botton next to me, who's a very good friend and a very good leader, a wonderful human being all round. And his comment to me afterwards was, I genuinely thought you were going to hit him. The guy jumped out, and I grabbed him by his collar, and I pushed him back, and I had a fist cocked. I was like, and at that point, I managed to stop myself and calm down. But I was like, they said there would be no one there. And I've got a long history of horror nights and me not getting on because I tend to hurt people without intending to.
So, Chris, before we go on, Chris, warning: the images that we're going to pull up now are a potential.
I'm going to go make a drink.
Trigger for you. So while we're looking at these pictures, why don't you go make a drink? And that way we can see the pictures and you can be in peace.
Okay. Thank you very much for the warning. Enjoy, everyone. And I don't mean that as a slight, Declan. I just can't cope with people in masks.
or clowns.
Or clowns. I'm better with clowns. I get more violent around clowns, but masks are just a no for me.
David, you are so bad. Do not wear a mask when you wake Chris up. Please don't ever do that.
He'll get hurt.
Just craziness. All right, let's go for the images. Go get yourself a drink. All right, Sarah, pull those images up, please. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and this is one of my most recent projects. So once again, none of this is real. It's just 3D rendering. Once again, being a massive fan of Halloween Horror Nights, I started making like a short kind of film towards one of the characters of Horror Nights, Jack the Clown, and just the whole kind of carnival neon aesthetic I thought fit it really well. So I decided to take some of the props and 3D model them from the actual event and make a Jack the Clown neon sign, fully enough. So I worked on that. I think I've been best part of almost 2 years now, obviously not consecutively, but picking up and putting down. But I think it's one of those white whale projects that I'll never actually finish, just because there's so much that I want to do. It's the level of like a full 5-minute animated short done by one person, so it's going to take several years to do. But yeah, it's I think this is one of the.
I think you just answered one of our questions, which is, what is your dream project?
Oh, finishing this 100%. Yeah, it's never going to get finished.
Oh, don't say that. You never know.
You'll never know. But I'd say this, and I would love at one point to design a Halloween Horror Nights house for the event. That would be one of like a huge milestone for me, I think, is just because I love going through them and I love like the design of them. It'd be good to like orchestrate either like an original idea or like an IP and bring that like to a 3-minute walkthrough or something like that. That would be one of the top tier things for me.
Oh, that's really cool. Have we got any other pictures, Sarah? Are there any other things that we need to look at? We are done. Wow. Well, Declan, it's like I'm amazed. How old are you now?
28 now, 29 in July.
You're still so young. It's incredible. I'm just being my 50-year-old me. Amazed at what people younger than me have done, and I'm just looking at me going like, hey, well, whatever. So let's see. What would you? Okay, so yeah, I was telling you, my son is entering. Of course, he's 23, so you were already in Russia by then. But he's starting out in this industry. What would you say to a young person that admires what you do and wants to be you later on? And what would you tell them?
I think I would just say that whatever you're passionate about, there are other like-minded people out there that will want you to succeed and all that stuff. So surround yourself with like-minded individuals. And go for, there's nothing that's too small that you can't do. Whether it takes a year or 10 years or whatever, the more effort you put into it, the quicker it will kind of come. And there is a lot of luck associated to that types of thing, but I would say if you want to do any kind of like 3D projection mapping or go into theme parks and help design attractions like around the world, just start is my main thing. Find events like the TEA, IAPA, Blue Loop was one of the main inspirations for me of going through the directory and emailing all of the companies to see if I could go and look at the offices or even have an interview, and just apply yourself as much as you can. But you're gonna have to decide one day to start doing it, and that's, I think, the biggest step, is convincing yourself to go for it.
Yeah. So speaking of connecting with companies and asking to get interviewed, I think you have a big year coming up that's been in the making for a couple of months now. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm currently at a company called Moment Factory, who are based out in Canada. So I've been chatting to them for. I actually met. That's why I mentioned the Russia story. Is I met the Canada representatives were working at Moment Factory. So that's when I first knew of the company. And at that time, I had no idea what theme parks were or anything. So currently awaiting my visa to come through to finally move over to Montreal and be full-time with the offices out there. So it's going to be, I'm not too sure how long it's been. I've been talking, or we've been going for the visa, but it's been many years on and off of COVID and that type of thing, and immigration. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, this year I will be out in Canada at Moment Factory, actually in person, not just on calls.
I mean, of course, Moment Factory is like the reference in projection mapping. I mean, maybe I'm like saying what I shouldn't be saying, but for me, it's one of the top companies, and I think that's really cool. And I find them really dynamic and diverse. I like that they hire people from all over the world, and they really do hire from all over the world. It's an amazing company. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. It's been a long time in the making, and yeah, I think it's just one of those things that has just happened by luck and coincidence. I mean, if I wasn't out in Russia doing that projection mapping show, I wouldn't know of the company then, or I wouldn't have I've been to visit them just after the trip in Russia, so I don't think we wouldn't have crossed paths unless I went the route that I did, kind of thing, at least to that point.
Oh.
I have to cut my mic all the time because I'm in a house with other people and I don't want their conversations polluting ours, so I'm cutting my mic all the time. So we listen, Chris, you left to avoid the mask, and we've continued to move on. So our almost last question. If you could change something in this industry, what would you change?
Oof, that is a very difficult question. I don't actually know, because I've had all my background in music, and I've only been in the themed entertainment industry about 3 years now. Coming up 3 or 4 years. So I'm still very new to it all and figuring it all out and all that type of thing. I would say if I could change something in the industry, knowing what I would know now, is maybe some more accessibility in terms of university degrees specifically for themed entertainment, or college, or it's a career that you can kind of go down. Because as a kid, I thought that these just things popped out of the ground and they didn't actually get designed by hundreds of thousands of people across the world and all these parks. I just thought Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you press buy on the roller coaster and it's there. That's what you do, right? So yeah, I'd say just more, not so much that it's hidden, but normalizing that this is a career that a lot of people can take, because I think I stumbled upon it just by accident, and it wasn't ever going to be a career that I set my heart on. But I know that there's such a massive theme park community out there on social media who are very young, who want to make these things, or are looking at going on roller coasters and liking how they're designed, and then they want to be engineers, but not necessarily a normal engineer. They want to be for theme parks. So more of a accessibility to this is something you can actually do, and it's not just you have to live in Florida or you have to be in America or that type of thing.
Yeah, it's an issue that we're running into in Europe with our education system, and how different it is from the US, and getting universities to understand that there are employment opportunities for next generation students in the themed entertainment industry. And I mean, I've tried to go to the local engineering school saying, roller coasters need engineers, and this is a real industry. This is a prolific and profitable industry to work in. And it's, at least in France, it's just been so difficult to get that connection with schools, because they don't see it as a real industry. Like, it's just having fun.
Mm-hmm. There's a presentation that we've done a couple of times to colleges and universities around where I live, down in Southampton, that we ask, think of a theme park, and ask the kids in the audience, like, think of a theme park. How many jobs are in a theme park? Name a job in a theme park, and it's always the garbage guys, the people that let you on and off the rides, the people that are managing the back of house staff, the managers. Like, okay,
the characters.
So the maintenance guys, the people that make things carry on working. I was like, yeah, okay, now think about how that part's built. How many people do you think, on the next question we ask, is how many people do you think are involved in building a theme park? And then they're all like, what trades? And they're like, builders, engineers. And I'm like, well, yeah, but what about all of the water fountains? What about all of the gardeners that look after all of the is it horticulture? Is that the word?
Yeah.
there's so many things that go in. You start springing in their mind that okay, yes, you might be studying biology, and you might want to go into something that you think is only academic. Even math, even the mathematicians and the physicists that want to be in theoretical science. It's like there's places that you can adapt and attach to our industry from all of these fields. And then we go through, do that presentation, and we end up getting a bunch of interest from the kids that we're presenting to, and we do as much as we can, bearing in mind no one's getting paid for it, and trying to say, you need to speak to this person in this company because they can help you, they can teach you something. And then that company turns around and says, well, they need a degree. They can't have a degree in what you need a degree in. I don't have a degree. I came into this industry at early teens in a family company, and I have learned my trade by working very hard at it. I'm 15. Oh, she's gone again. 15 years in. Oh, she's back again. There and back again. We're going to start calling you Bilbo Baggins. We need a Lord of the Rings park. Just saying. We've had this before in Unsung Hero, so it needs to happen. There's so many different places connect, and it's always comes down to like the faculty saying, well, how do we teach that? And it's because everyone is doing the job, not teaching the job. And you can't teach it without having experienced it, doing it, learning it, and having a career in it. And people love it so much that they don't then back away from it to do something like teaching about it. And that's the trouble that especially universities have, is you don't have anyone that's at a high enough level to be able to effectively preach about it. It's an interesting topic and a problematic one, but it would be lovely to see lots of young people flooding into our industry with some theoretical knowledge, so you're not starting from scratch. I mean, I won't personally, when I'm trying to hire someone to work in my team, I tend to not go for university grads and go for college grads and be like, I'm going to teach you what I need to teach you before you've got some other adult mentality in your brain. I don't want you to go to university and think that working for your job is something that's office-based 9 till 5 and boring. I want to throw you out into the world straight away, and I've done it 3 times now in my immediate team, and 2 of them still work with me. It's fantastic. They're brilliant human beings and brilliant engineers and problem solvers, but you can't teach that in a classroom. It's it's difficult. I'll shut up now. Cynthia.
All right, Declan, we are at the end of our serious questions. And the last question is about unsung heroes. And the name of our show celebrates unsung heroes. And so I'd like to ask you whether you have an unsung hero or 2. And tell us about them.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got 3. And the first unsung hero to me is a previous guest that was on here, which is my good friend Jeremy, who I would say was pivotal for me in this industry and introduced me to the right people at the right time, and using his connections. Yeah, there he is. We do have a little bit of a height difference, as you might be able to tell. It's very minimal. So I do look like the lost child. I'm 6 foot. I'm 5'5". So he's got a I think it might be the lens on the camera that kind of makes him look taller, but it's close. But yeah, I look like
Yellow Pages. I'll do another. Would you like a box?
I'm like the lost son who just keeps wandering off. But yeah, no, Jeremy kind of me and him met over Twitter through my neons. So we didn't have any kind of industry connection. We didn't meet in the industry. We met online, just because of my neon artwork and that type of thing. And then we started chatting more and more often, and then IAPA happens, and then you meet up with all your internet friends and people you work with throughout the years. And yeah, just one of my really close mates, and someone that like I admire to all of his work and his work ethic as well. Guy works really hard, so he is one of my main unsung heroes as of now. And then the other two who come as a package deal, which they might be watching, they might not be, but this is many years ago, is my lecturer Graham and Martin. And those two were the main kind of guys that pushed me in the right direction for to do projection mapping, and helped me kind of just see it as not as something that's possible, and not to shy away from. They didn't have any experience in projection mapping, and no one really knew what it was. It wasn't readily available on the internet, and it wasn't. It was just done by massive companies on big buildings. So these guys really pushed me in the direction of, yeah, it is possible, giving me the kind of backing throughout my coursework, whether it was I had a deadline, they might extend it a tiny bit, or they might give me as much help as I needed. They entered me into the festivals that I kind of played with the cardboard boxes, and was really supportive for a kid that just wanted to projection map onto cardboard boxes and didn't really have a clue how to do it. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I'll have to send it their way if they're I'm pretty sure I've still got them on social media and stuff, so I'll have to send it their way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Shall we move on to? Thank you for sharing your unsung heroes.
There's one thing there that needs additional somethingness. What we need is a photo of your hand and Jeremy's hand high-fiving.
Oh, wait. You can already see that. Something like that. It's not going to be anything near identical whatsoever.
Because he does have big hands.
Goodness. Where did Declan go?
He's
disappeared. Yeah, he's done. He thought it's the end of the show.
You don't want to do fun questions. There he is.
Oh, you went to click on the comment section and clicked on sign up for free by accident.
So thank you, Stuart, for saying that this Dead Skull guy seems all right. Yeah, he does.
Oh, yes.
He does seem all right. I suppose you must know, Stuart.
Yeah, so Stu is part of the exclusive and world-renowned Girls Club, which is a kind of theme park society thing that I set up over social media. So also Unsung Heroes is the Girls Club, which, funnily enough, is just some of the best people and most creative people I've ever met. And that's the club name. It's Girls Club, so...
That's cool. Patrick.
So, Patrick, you may not. Do you know who Patrick is, Declan?
Yeah, me and Patrick got very drunk with each other, and there is a picture on someone's phone, but we don't know where it is. So
we need a picture, because I mean, I'm just going to throw it out there, like. Patrick might be an inch taller than Jeremy, but I'm pretty sure I'm about 3 inches taller than both of them.
Oh wow! Yeah, the me and Patrick once again met on Twitter and started hanging out at these events, and it all revolves around just drinking until 4 o'clock in the morning and having like a good time with like similar-minded people. So, but I do often look like the lost child. It's just escaped from a tour group for sure.
Hold on to your youth, though. Keep it youthful.
I'll certainly try.
Come on, I'm 50, and I still feel like the themed entertainment industry is just, talking, eating, and drinking, and having fun. I mean, is it work? It's not work.
You might be 50, Cynthia, but I mean, you're very much a 21-year-old.
Yeah, 21. Thank you. I am legal age to drink and to watch porn. And oh, oops, sorry. Saucy Cynthia's back. All right, let's go to the fun questions. Change the subject
Have you seen Patrick's? There we go. No photographic proof. I'm not quite. I did see a man, honestly, it was an IAPA event. It was the behind the scenes. No, not the behind the scenes. The evening that they did the at IAPA visits, Universal Orlando, when the first Harry Potter opened. And there was a man, I shit you not, was about 7.5 feet tall. He was massive. And it's very rare I have to do that to look at someone in the eye. Like, I don't think I'd ever had to do that before. I mean, Declan, it sounds like you're quite used to it. But
how tall are you in centimeters, Chris? Because
203, I think it is.
I dated a guy that was 209. Oh my God, that was like, hi, I'm so happy.
It's the perfect height, I think, the perfect height is about 195 centimeters, which I think is about 6'5" ish.
Yeah.
Because you're very tall, but you don't have to worry about doors. And you can just walk as you normally walk through a corridor and not think about anything. I always have to look where I'm going because street signs in the UK are at 2 meters. So if I walk under a street sign, I get scalped. If I walk through a door and don't pay attention and pace correctly, I get scalped. And the amount of like cuts I have and scars I have on the top of my head is ridiculous. So I reckon it's 195. It'd be lovely.
I can't say I've ever had that problem, but I'll keep it in mind.
I'll put you on my shoulder and you'll find out.
Yeah.
You want to have cuts here, I'll have cuts here. You know, all right, let's go for the rapid fire quick question, fun questions. Are you ready?
Have you seen I added one, Cynthia?
Oh my goodness. I forgot to pull it up. No, I didn't.
Okay, I've added one that I've highlighted just because I'm interested to know the answer.
Oh God! Oh good Lord! Hold on, because I'm trying to find it now. I'm so sorry. No, I've got it.
I've got it now. Don't look at that. Don't click on that, Declan. You're not allowed to.
Yeah, don't look at that one, Declan.
Do it now.
I've got it. All right. Okay, I understand. I have it. Your best sandwich. Number one top favorite sandwich.
BLT.
Really? Traditional, straightforward. Okay.
Solid.
Does BLT only have bacon, lettuce, and tomato? Is that like only bacon, lettuce, tomato?
Yeah. Oh, I say it's a close contender with a club sandwich. Yeah, sticking with BLT.
In Mexico, I've actually discovered the joy of club sandwiches because if I eat another tortilla, I think I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot.
I know there's enchiladas. Is it empanadas?
Oh no, empanadas do not have tortillas. They're like a mince pie type of, I guess, a mince pie. Do you have like, it's like a savory.
Well, a mince pie to a brick means something very different, and that happens around Christmas.
It's like a meat pie. Yeah. An empanada is an individual sized meat pie, so it has the pie crust that you just like.
It's a bit like a bit more of a pasty. I'd call it a pasty. I think they're great because when I was working outside of Mexico City, I can't remember where, Metepec, outside of Mexico City, about an hour and a half drive. I was eating street food all the time, and it was amazing. All of the food was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. And it was people walking out of their front rooms near the site, knowing that there was loads of builders there, and then be like, "Oh, you can just give me some pesos for this, some pesos. I don't care. Just have some lunch, enjoy it, and pay me what you want. And it was amazing. The one day we went to a food court. Actually, we did go and watch the football because it was the Euros were on or something. England were playing. Went and had a pizza. But the one day we went into this food court, I had a hot dog, and I was chomping my way through it, and I eat quick. Cynthia knows this. I eat very quick, and I got to about 3/4 of the way down through the thing, and I was like, I think there's something wrong with that. And I had food poisoning for 3 days.
Oof.
Oh man, disgusting. All right, let's go on another subject. How many tattoos do you have?
I've given up counting. Too many. I've got my hands tattooed. I've got my legs tattooed. I'm going to get my knee done next week. I would say probably over 40 at this point.
Jesus.
Wow. What was your first tattoo?
It was the band, the Prodigy, like Firestarter, and that. I had the logo, the Omen logo there, but I got it done when I was about 16 in my friend's kitchen, and it wasn't very good. So I got it covered up with a rose.
Okay. And your next one is going to be on your knee. What is it going to be?
It's a bat for Halloween. It's a bat's face.
Bats are evil and they should all be shot. Tennis racket.
Wow. All right. One thing that you own that you should absolutely throw out, but you haven't.
Oh, I think I've still got the same. Yeah, I've still got the same ice hockey elbow pads that I've had since I started. So they would be 20 years old.
Yeah, but those are collectors now.
Oh, these ones have they're half ripped in half. Like there's nothing left to them, but I just keep wearing them.
All right. Your favorite smell?
I love the smell of attics. I don't know why, but I don't know. Yeah, attics. Just a kind of dusty, not opened in a while attic.
That's
so I would call that smell the same as an old people's home.
No way.
Like that.
No, I'd assimilate it to an old library filled with books and dust.
Yeah, I would say that's
an old
the best
bookstore or something.
The
like
best
that.
person to ask is my friend Liam, who designs smells for theme parks. He would be able to tell you exactly what it is. You should definitely get him on the show.
Oh, we did. We had a smell thing in.
Oh, there he is. He's in the comments.
There he is.
Yes. So yes,
Abu Dhabi, where we had there was it was all about ecology and looking after the future and the environment. And then the idea was that you had through the choices of your group that walked into this final show area, it showed you a flyover of Abu Dhabi as you, between all of you, had chosen to make it with the options that you'd done throughout your experience. And so we had this acrid, burnt rubber, tar, horrible smell if you did it really badly. But then we had to do a smell test for the client team of what they wanted each of the options to be. And we just threw in there the most demonstrous fart smell, for fun. And it was one of the best moments of my entire career, presenting what I knew to be one of the worst smells I have ever smelled in my life. It was literally someone had died out of their ass, and holding it up to the client's face and be like, "What do you reckon for this?"
That's something definitely to speak with Leo about. When we had a drink together, we were saying that there's no one vomit smell, there's no one fart smell, there's many variations, and determining which one that is, I won't speak on his behalf, but yeah, he's very knowledgeable on different variations of unpleasant smells for sure.
Oh, so that brings us to my next question. What is your least favorite smell?
It's weird because people love it. It's the smell of carbonara, the spaghetti. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's like one of those that makes me like almost want to throw up.
Carbonara.
Yeah.
That's so odd, but brilliant.
I just can't. It literally what came straight to my mind. I can't, if I'm with somebody and they order it, I generally have to sit away from them because I don't hate it.
Wow.
No,
It's funny how there's, food smells. They can, yeah, those are the types of smells that are touch and go for so many people. I mean, I remember a time when I couldn't even look at a shrimp. I would want to vomit just looking at shrimp. And food is so, it's touch and go.
Parmesan, Sarah, does smell like essence of puke. It does. Or Parmesan for the Americans. There we go.
Oh,
I've done a
and what is it? Durian? Have you guys ever smelled durian fruit? It's an Asian fruit that is, you either love the smell or you hate the smell. And I hate the smell. It smells like rotten cheese marinated in rotten onion and left out in the sun for a year. It's disgusting. It's totally disgusting. And then I'm sure that someone in the comments is going to say, oh my God, durian is so good. It's delicious. I can't believe you're saying that. It's just the weirdest fruit, durian. Exactly. Sarah is saying it's banned from public places in Singapore and Malaysia. You're not allowed to take it on the metro because it smells so bad. You can't take it on planes. It's just, I think durian is probably my smell.
Mine's much more common. I can't stand coconut.
Oh,
coconut?
Yeah, the smell of coconut. People put like, oh, I've got this body cream that smells like coconut. Those people make me retch. I can go and introduce myself. I've done it. I've genuinely done it at the Hard Rock Hotel in where the TEA does its big event each year. And I've been introduced to someone, and I'm a hugger, so I just leant in and gave the lady a hug, and I retched over her shoulder. I was like, literally grabbed, and I was like, 1 second.
And she smelled so much like coconut.
Coconut, I can't cope with it. And she goes, but that's my moisturizer. That's not even my perfume. I was like, I can't smell your perfume. All I can smell is coconut. So if we can go and stand outside, we can have a conversation. If not, I'm going to have to walk away because I will puke. I'm sorry.
Can you imagine? Oh my God, smell is so important. Oh, I really want the smell guy on the show.
The smell guy.
Any questions that you can think of thrown to Liam as well? I'm sure he'll know. He'll be very knowledgeable in it. I just thought of another one as well. Is the fake tan? The smell of fake tan, I can't stand either. That's another one. Just going off the coconut kind of smell. Yeah, fake tan.
I've never smelled fake tan.
I've never smelled fake tan either.
I don't. It's one of those smells that I can't compare to anything because it doesn't smell like anything else. To my knowledge, it's fake tan and carbonara. No thanks.
Loving the specificity there.
Yeah, that's what I came to straight away. I was like, they're the two things that I can't stand.
All right, next rapid fire question. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
5 words.
Or less.
Very tired all the time. That's it. That's what it's going to be.
There's something, it's revolutionary. It's called sleep.
We haven't got that over this side of the pond yet, I don't think. We're not allowed to. No, it's a generational thing, Declan. I think actually, it's like we're forced into. We're brought up with the if you work really hard and forever, you can have all the things that you want, and then you grow up working really hard to get everything that you want, and find that all you are is exhausted all of the time, and everyone just wants more.
I think it comes down to staring at a screen a lot of like for 13, 14 hours a day makes you really tired.
Yeah, but,
Wow.
but if you're sat there playing a computer game and you're enjoying it, that you can lose 4 or 5 hours into that and feel nothing. And it's only because it's effort and working and engaging your brain. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I'd say that I imagine the rest of my career in theme parks is a lot of fun stuff, but being very tired.
So next questions. We are compiling a list of Unsung Heroes' best songs and best books. What would your contribution be to the best song and best book list?
So I'm really into music, so that's a very difficult one. I think my best book is now I forgot the oh no, I think I've got it. So The Art of Travel by Elena de Botton or Alan de Botton. That's that way. That's one of my favorite books for when I was traveling, to show you the kind of perspective of like what people go through when they travel and that type of thing. So it had an example of a somebody being very very into Victorian kind of style, who lived in the Netherlands, I believed, and they bought everything they ever wanted that was Victorian. The house was designed to be Victorian, and they kind of revolved their world around almost like a Charles Dickens kind of thing. And then they had the opportunity to go to London, and they never got on the train because they didn't want to ruin their perspective of what London was to them. So they didn't want the real thing because they were too happy living in the reality they created of the place. And I think you build places up sometimes. So like going over to LA, you think, oh, I'm going to LA, it's going to be great. And then you get there and you realize that it's a little bit different to what you see. Yeah. So that's one of my favorite books to go to, and I've read it a few times. And one of my favorite songs, I'd say, is it's got to be the Back to the Future score. Is one of my favorite songs.
That's so pleasing.
Back to the Future, or yeah, I'd say Back to the Future by, is it Alan Silvestri, I believe was the composer. And the whole score for that movie, including like Earth Angel, Johnny Be Good, like everything. If I could like pick a desert island album, it'd be that. But the song, it's the Back to the Future theme tune.
It's funny. You just made me think of Beverly Hills Cop. That soundtrack. It just always makes me smile. It's maybe not the best music out there, but it's just always, whenever it comes on the radio, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to listen to this. I love it.
That's such a great shout. I've never thought of that, but you've got The Power of Love, Huey Lewis and the News as well.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's like there's no bad songs in that entire movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I think I'm done with my rapid fire questions.
Right as well.
I thought it was, which I should probably know, considering it's like my favorite movie as well. But yeah,
fantastic. I've just got it going through my head now, and I want to sing it, but I can't sing. So, right, okay. So, are we into my questions now, Cynthia?
Yes.
Right. So I've got if you've seen shows before, you know what the last question is already, and you'll know the other ones as well. But there is, I've got a hypothetical for you first.
Okay.
So you have been booked for the Royal Variety performance with an hour to spare.
Mm-hmm.
You can't DJ or use projection mapping. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't know. maybe explain how cardboard boxes are very beneficial to people's lives. I don't know.
The Queen's gonna love that.
Yeah, it's like, you got any cardboard boxes? Don't throw them out. Here's why.
But then you've got to talk about projection mapping, which then
I can't do that.
no boxes for you.
Damn it.
The hour's ticking. If I was wearing a watch, I'd be tapping it.
I don't know. Like, it's some really bad stand-up and just steal people's jokes, which is like heavily taboo. I don't know.
Sarah is saying ice hockey.
Yeah, I could just shoot pucks at the crowd, see if how many people can you injure in an hour? Go for a Guinness World Record at the same time in front of the Queen. Yeah,
love it.
Awesome.
Right, because this is Unsung Heroes. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Teleporting, because then I haven't got to be on 8-hour flights.
Man after my own heart. If you were to ride into battle on an animal, what would the animal be?
See, I don't know whether to go something like my size, so it's like in proportion, or just to go like completely
a mouse.
Opposite. Yeah. Just hold a mouse next to me. I don't know. Maybe like, because your obvious answer would be like an elephant or a lion or like a horse, like something that you've seen before. But I think you go, I don't know, if we were going to go for like, can you include dinosaurs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Diplodocus, 100%.
Love it. That's
there you go.
Do I?
Yes.
I'm looking for another one.
Do I ask that? Yes.
No. I can't ask what popped into my head because it's not enough. It's not in our list of fun questions, and it's not been pre-approved by Sarah and Kelly. I'm going to throw. We haven't had this one in a while, actually, Cynthia. Declan, if you were to write your own TV show, what would it be about, and what would you call it?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I might do like a that would be a good one. It would be kind of, could it be like a biopic on somebody, like a docu-series kind of thing?
Yeah.
I would do that on someone like Bob Gurr, or I think I'll go with Bob Gurr, and like if you could like do reenactments as well, it'd be like a 7-part series of how they designed everything in theme parks.
Ooh.
Legend. And then
that
finally,
deserves to be made.
If you had to wear one hat for the rest of your life, and you couldn't explain why to anyone, and you literally have to keep on all the time, which one would you pick? Would you pick the big hat or the little hat?
The big hat, 100%, because this looks ridiculous. Not the little one doesn't, but I think it might look better on. It'd be probably just a normal hat for me.
We're back into the. I mean, it doesn't even fit my head. Like that's how big my head is, and we'll have nothing from you, Cynthia, on that note. It just doesn't. It might fit your head. I don't know whether you have a small or big head.
Average head, like, so I don't know. If we could turn it into like a 5-panel, I think, and put my logo on it, then I'd definitely rock it for sure.
So I found and decided before this call that I'm going to change up the hats slightly. So I think you might be the last ever guest to pick between those two hats.
I was wondering whether for our return you got new hats. I was like, maybe he's got new hats. So it will be for the next
you should have probably text me. I might have been a little bit quicker and more thoughtful about it and got it done.
I didn't think about it. I just thought about it when you asked the question. So yeah,
Oh,
there was
right.
no pre-thinking about me.
No pre-thinking.
we
Isn't that an
pre-think these
Unsung Heroes
shows about the
classic?
same.
No pre-thinking. We'll just wing it. It's going to be fine.
Exactly. It's the idea behind this show. We don't plan anything. It just goes the way it goes, and I love it because I don't have time to plan anything.
And we have wonderful guests like Declan. Declan, where can we
Exactly.
find you on all the social medias?
I'm just
Yes.
_, and that's pretty much on Instagram and Twitter are the only two that I really use. So, and if you go to like www.deadschool.co.uk, that will link to my Behance. So I'm terrible at uploading things, but if I'm most active on like Twitter.
Well, thank you so much, Declan, for being a guest on our show. Thank you for being an unsung hero in the industry, and we wish you so much luck in Canada. Hopefully, you'll get there soon.
Yes.
And yeah, and thank you again. Really, thank you to our viewers. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Press the buttons, fondle the buttons slightly, whatever. Do what you want with your buttons.
Press things appropriately in the right kind of way.
Yes, very inappropriately in all of the directions.
And go follow Dead Skull on Twitter.
And go follow Dead Skull on Twitter. Yes, please do that. And thank you for watching. Thank you, Patrick, for saying this is a great show. We have a great team behind us, and that would be Kelly and Sarah, and our head guys, Patrick and Andy. So thank you very much for everything. And Declan, once again, thank you so much for being an unsung hero.
Yeah,
don't forget, everyone, hug a hero.
She said, make the world a better place and go hug a hero.
What did I say? Make the world a better place?
You broke.
Make the world a better place. Go hug a hero.
There we go.
Mwah. Love you.